Hey, I'm Matt with Meat Church. Let's grill these gigantic salmon fillets and glaze them with Blanton's barrel-aged maple syrup. Well, this is one of my favorite things to make. Salmon doesn't get the clicks that a brisket does, but the people that make this particular recipe rave about it. My buddy Pete Delkus, the chief meteorologist at Channel 8 here in Dallas, says this changed his outdoor cooking life. Cooks it all the time. Absolutely one of my favorite recipes, and plus the story behind it is really cool. Every summer, I go up to Haida, Canada by helicopter, an island, and catch some of the freshest salmon ever. So I've brought back some Chinook, or kings as you call them here in the States, for us to cook, and they present beautifully. It couldn't be any easier to cook, and it tastes great. And you can obviously do smaller salmon pieces with this, and then we're gonna put a glaze on at the end that'll just knock it out of the park. So let's get started. So I've got a couple beautiful fillets here, and what I've done is I'm gonna cook these on a Traeger today, and the beautiful thing about using a pellet grill is you can cook on butcher paper. You can do this on a plank as well, but for entire fillets like this, you gotta have a pretty dang big plank. So when you catch the fish, or when they pack it, one of the fish has the tail attached so they can identify the species, and the other side does not. Now, the most proper way to cook this would be to cut it into smaller pieces so each piece cooks very evenly. But when you're feeding a big crowd, I find often that a few different donenesses is usually okay. And like I said, it presents very beautifully like this. You can remove the belly if you want right here. It's very delicious. I'm actually gonna leave it on and just serve it and eat it just like this. So that's one of the reasons this is gonna be so dang easy, to be honest with you. A lot of seasoning options when it comes to this, but when in the Meat Church arsenal, my absolute favorites are Honey Hog or our D's Nuts Honey Pecan. We did this previously in our summer grilling series. We used D's Nuts. Today we're gonna use our Honey Hog. It's an all-purpose with honey powder. It's one of my first two seasonings. It's, I'd say it's a top 5 seasoning in the United States, if you ask me. It's super duper popular. So I'm gonna lightly season while I keep talking to you guys. Season with what you want. If you don't use Meat Church, it's fine. Season with whatever your taste buds love. I always say there's no right or wrong way. My way is definitely not the right way. It's just a way that I like, a way that works for me and my family likes. But use whatever flavor profiles you like. This salmon means a lot to me. My wife and I go on this trip. It's a guest chef trip that I take. Cook with my buddy Danny, Jacobs & Co. Steakhouse in Toronto. If you ever travel to Toronto, his steakhouse, I don't know that I've ever had better. His steak menu is like a wine list. It's insanity. Had a trip up there with some friends to eat with him this year. But anyway, Danny and I cooked this event. It's a ton of fun. British Columbia is one of the most beautiful places in the world to visit. But the fishing, even in the summer, you got to dress like you're going skiing. We see all kinds of whales, bald eagles. Actually, the first place I ever saw a bald eagle was all the way up in Canada. But it's absolutely beautiful. My wife always outfishes me, so she enjoys going there, but it's awesome. You guys should check out West Coast Fishing Club. I'll put a link down in the description. I'm gonna be there this summer again, so you guys take your dad, and it'll be a bucket list trip for sure. All right, this is adhering. Let's talk about cooking. Very simple. We're rocking a Traeger Timberline XL. I'm gonna go 325 degrees today. That's why I said I'm grilling. You can go lower. In my previous recipe, I did 275. It turns out great either way. If you want more smoke, go lower temperature. If you want it done quicker, go a little hotter. It all works. I like a lighter wood or pellet with a fish because it's delicate. So I'm using the Traeger Louisville Slugger maple pellet. So a maple pellet is great. I told you we're doing maple syrup at the end. Wood is the first ingredient in any cook you do, so the maple will complement this nicely. But importantly, I want a light smoking wood. So a fruit wood like apple or cherry or an alder would be great. I don't want to use a heavy wood personally. If you're looking for a heavy smoke, then you can go up to pecan, hickory, oak, but I want to go lighter because I just want a delicate kiss of smoke. Another reason I'm cooking 325, I don't want them too smoky. My family will eat this when it's not super duper smoky, so just adjust the recipe to what you want to do. So butcher paper in a pellet grill is awesome. It's a benefit. Great feature, like I said, of a pellet grill and not a live fire. is you can actually cook on this paper, which keeps your grill kind of clean, and it's really easy. So let's put it in. I'm gonna monitor the temperature here in the thickest part of the filet, and we'll let you know along the way how it's going. Salmon's been cooking 30 minutes. I've melted some butter, so let's make the glaze. Whew, salmon looks beautiful. With my instant read, I just checked, and the salmon is 120 in the thickest part. So what I've done is I've melted a stick of butter, half a cup, and I'm gonna go twice that amount of maple syrup. And I'm using Blanton's Bourbon barrel-aged maple syrup. I picked this up at Buffalo Trace. Sounded delicious to me. You just need a good syrup. Don't be using a bottle of Aunt Jemima syrup. You need to get grade A maple syrup, so get a good maple syrup. And you know this is gonna be good because it's aged in bourbon barrels. Whew. Yeah, buddy. Measure with your heart, as I always say. So we're gonna give this a little mix here. So we've got this good butter, we've got this good maple syrup, and then what we're doing, since the fish is at 120, we're glazing it right now, and I'm just gonna let it sit on there 5 minutes or so. So the USDA tells you that salmon is done at 145. I believe that's why people don't like salmon more than they do. I think that's overcooked. So I like to take salmon, I treat it like a steak somewhat. I like it medium rare. So I'm gonna go, you know, max maybe 130. That's a big aha moment for a lot of people. It's a lot more juicy, and people seem to enjoy it more like that. When you overcook salmon, or cook it to higher internal temperature, I should say, a lot of the albumin or fat kind of comes out of it. So I like to go a little bit lower. So I know we're there, so it's time to glaze. This is gonna get a little messy inside. If you wanna do this step outside of your grill, you can. I'm just gonna pour it right on. The glaze has been on for 8 or 9 minutes. It's time to pull the salmon off. Smells awesome. Benefit of all that glaze dripping down in the grill, man, you're getting a ton of smoke coming up, just kissing that glaze. Smells, looks awesome. All right, well, these are hot. If I'm going to glaze salmon with Blanton's barrel-aged maple syrup, then I need to go into my bourbon bar and get some Blanton's. I'll be back. All right, well, I got several different types of Blanton's, and I chose Blanton straight from the barrel, which is my favorite Blanton's. It's not been proofed down. This one's 131.6 proof, so a lot higher proof than most Blantons, so I thought we would go proper. Definitely tasty if you've never had straight from the barrel. A lot different from your standard Blantons. Everybody's been talking about these Meat Church Glens. You can get them in my barbecue supply shop in downtown Waxahachie. We may sell them one day, but that shop's meant to be a destination, so we sell a lot of cool things there that you can't get online. So cheers. That's awesome, and honestly, really good pairing in my opinion. So I'm not gonna get too fancy. I've made 2 gigantic fillets, but I've got a huge crew, and so this is about to be a buffet for a bunch of people, so it's gonna be okay if I fork off just a little bit. And I mentioned the fat popping out. You can kind of see it on this fillet down on the smaller part, but not in the thicker part, especially on this one. There's hardly any fat whatsoever that's come out, so it's going to be a lot juicier. So I'm telling you, cooking salmon to 125, 130 is a lot better in my opinion than cooking to 145. And listen, it's coming up on summertime. The flies know what's up in the Meat Church kitchen, so anyway. Here we go. Ah, damn, that is, I'm telling you, I should be making this every week. You can't, this is unbelievable. I mean, talk about organic. This is from my outdoor grocery store. Caught it, flew it all the way back here to Texas. Seasoned simply with Honey Hog. But that glaze is stupid good. Y'all gotta make this. This going in the Summer Grilling Series playlist. We got a lot of cool stuff for summertime's grilled oysters, things like that. Y'all check it out. If you like this video, please be sure to like and subscribe the channel. Enough being cutesy. Y'all ready to eat this? I'll see y'all next time.